Good morning from beautiful Miami. My name is Maryam Isa Al Ali Zastafel. I put God first. This is my story, and I have a purpose. I help others embrace their authentic self to serve a bigger purpose. Everything I do in my life, from the minute I wake up in the morning to the minute I go to sleep at night, is a service of something bigger than who I am.
Yes, and my name is Alexander Zastapol. My purpose is to bring out the strength in others so they can take full control of their life and gain all rights to their existence.
Existence, guys, existence. And we come to you guys every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. Dubai time. And we come to you with a topic that is going to be so beneficial for your life and your business. And today's topic is not any different. It is be a confident speaker. Exist as a confident speaker. And why do we talk about that? Is because right now, as we are approaching the end of the year, if you are getting your way with your communication, or we know how to deal with people, you're building your network, it means that you are good to speak. And in today's session, we're going to be talking about the different segmentations that you need to master to say, I am a confident speaker. So I would like to start with a couple of definitions. When I say I am confident, it means I have a firm trust in something. When I say I have confidence in Alex, it means I have a firm trust in Alex. When I say I have confidence in the place we live in, it means I have a firm trust in where we live, right? When I say I have confidence in my ability to speak, it means I have a firm trust in the way I speak. So when you say I am a confident speaker, it means that you have a firm trust in the way you talk, communicate, and speak, and so on and so forth. So I want this to bring this to your attention. So being a confident speaker is not this thing that is, oh my God, only for the special few, only for those who only have charisma. I actually had a conversation with a lady yesterday. She was saying, oh, Maryam, not everybody can talk. People have great ideas, but they cannot really talk because they don't have charisma. Some people are more with than some. Okay, sure, definitely. Definitely. But the idea is if you really put your mind into it, you can learn how to be confident. Your charisma comes from your confidence. Has nothing to do with the way you look. You know? And my favorite actors, I will not mention who, okay? They're not really good looking, but they have this charisma about them. They have this thing about them, right? So again, when you want to go ahead and say, I am a confident speaker, it means that you have a firm belief and trust in yourself. And in today's session, we're going to be sharing with you guys like simple things that we've been doing, we've been learning. You know, it's not this thing that, as I mentioned, it's only for the selected few. If you look at my videos, guys, I keep my videos from years ago. Some people like, take it down, professional. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. People will see how we were talking about before. Good. It will inspire people to say, oh, if Maryam Al Ali was this bad, I can be better, right? So
Me too.
Right? So the idea of it, guys, is it's not for the selected few. It is not for the selected few. So again, let's go ahead and get into the content. So the first thing that you need to understand and master for you to be a confident speaker is intention. Okay, you're going to speak to someone. Good. What is the intention? Oh no, Maryam, I'm just going to have a conversation. Conversation doesn't have an intention. So when Alex and I, every time before we go into a session with anyone, or we go to a speech, or we go to a conference, we need to understand the intention. When I'm going to be communicating and speaking to that person, what is the intention? If the intention is missing, the communication is broken.
Yeah, 100%. So I want to go back to something you said too here. So a lot of you might think that, you know, if you weren't born with the confidence, you can't have it. And if that's your intention, that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay, so if you have the intention, like you're literally telling yourself all the time that, oh, only people that are already confident can be confident. I used to think the same thing. So I completely agree with you guys. Like I used to think the same exact thing. There are definitely people on this planet that were born with more charisma, confidence, and it looks like they have confidence. But just so you're very clear, there's times where those people are not confident too. Just so you guys know that. I didn't know that. I thought they were like always confident. And the reality is Everybody can acquire more confidence. I know myself because at one point I tried to commit suicide.
Right.
That's an indication that I didn't have very much confidence, did I? If I was wanting to remove myself from this planet and I felt that I didn't have a purpose, I felt that the planet was better off without me, don't you think that that indicates that maybe that guy doesn't have very much confidence? In fact, he believes so less in himself, he thinks he's such a waste of life that he wants to remove himself.
Wow.
That's what not having any confidence really looks like. Okay, and depression and uncertainty and the dark side of things that most people do not talk about. Okay, but the great news is that you can acquire massive amounts of confidence. I know what it's like to be in that situation. I know what it's like to have massive, unstoppable amounts of confidence. And just so you know, the fear and those types of things don't go away, but you can present confidence everywhere that you go. If you go look at any of my social media pages, if you go look at the replays of these videos on our YouTube channel, right? If you go back and look, way back, I wasn't very confident, but in the last year, you can see my confidence in every single video. Okay, so you can go look for yourself, the difference. I have come out of that, and now I don't want to just have that for myself. I know how amazing it feels to be on the other side, and my intention is to get every single one of you with massive amounts of confidence, which I just wanted to mention that because people might be thinking, oh, just for other people. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. If I can overcome the suicide thing and get out of that mindset, right, then if you don't have confidence right now, so can you.
100%.
Okay.
And actually, now that you say that, for example, like speaking about intention and having the confidence with that. Again, here's the thing, guys. Like right now, we are talking to you guys. You are on different social media platforms. Maybe you are watching us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you are watching us from. A shout out to our friend Wi-Fi empowering this program every single Tuesday. Thank you, Purple Circle, for taking care of us every single Tuesday. So you guys are watching us. So when we come here, we have an intention. Today, our intention to the audience we're going to speak about is to help them become confident speakers. That's I'm like, let's just go and wing it. What is winging things? We are there to speak about the topic with people to help them understand a certain aspect better. So the first thing you need to understand for you to be a confident speaker is to set your intention before you speak. We're going to talk about the audience in a second, but when you go ahead and set that intention, why do I want to have a meeting with William? Why am I going to the mastermind next week with Cardone? Right? Why are we going to the 10X Growth Conference? Why am I going to be speaking in this conference? If there is no clear intention behind the thing, there is no communication, and your audience will notice it. The audience will notice if you are not having a clear intention of whatever you're going to go ahead and communicate it with them. So that's number one.
That's a good point. Intention is the most important part, just so you guys are very aware of that. You can't skip the intention. And you can have, people that have not so good intentions and good intentions. What are your intentions? Just want to add that. Go ahead.
I love that. I love that. So that's number one. That's number one when it comes to speaking. And guys, I love to talk about it because I spent 18 years to be able to speak. English is my second language. Right? Is. I didn't know how to speak. I was very conservative. I was very cute and quiet because, oh my God, a good girl should be quiet, right? But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't mean that, right? So it goes back to your own ethics and your own why do you want to speak? Why do you have to have a platform to speak? Why your voice needs to be heard, right? So that's number one. That's the first intention. So that's the first point when it comes to for you to become a confident speaker. The second thing that you need to understand for you to be a confident speaker is know your audience. Know your audience. Know who you are talking to. For example, my favorite topic of all time is purpose. When I go ahead and talk to executives about purpose, it's a different audience. When I go ahead and speak to my friend about purpose, it's a different audience. When I go ahead and speak to Alex about purpose, it's a different audience. If I'm going to go speak to a group of women about purpose, it's a different audience. So what is audience? Audience is someone who's there. It could be one person. Your audience could be someone who is there. Sorry, one second. So an audience is someone who is there to observe and participate. To watch, observe, and participate. They are there to watch, observe, and maybe participate if they choose to. And there are three types of audiences. Number one audience. One person could be an audience. Like if I'm talking to Alex himself and I, it's one audience. I'm talking to one channel here. I'm talking to Alex, right? If I'm going to go ahead and run like a purpose session for 10, 20 people, that's a group audience. A group audience means it's a group of people that you can see everybody in the room. You can get to know them and so on and so forth. There could be 10, 20 people, right? And then the third group of audience is the arena audience, like the thousands of people. Some of them you see, some of them you do not see. Some of them you see, some of them you do not see, right? So when it comes to you understanding that, so okay, so who am I talking to? Am I talking to one person? Am I talking to a group? I see everybody, or I'm talking to an arena audience? I see some people and I still don't see the other. And when you understand that, the way you communicate with them will be different. But if you assume, oh, I'm gonna go talk to kids about purpose, I need to bring games. So I want to help them with purpose. It's different. I'm not gonna take games to executives at a 500 Fortune. Right? If you don't understand your audience, the communication will also be broken.
And just so everybody's very clear, Miriam's very humble about this, but Miriam has been pulled up on stages of 17,000 people live without any preparation. Like, well, she prepared her whole life, for 18 years, but she didn't know that it was going to happen. 17,000 people live. Okay. She did not know. Oh, and then a couple months later, again, she gets pulled up on stage in front of 10,000 people that she did not know she was going to be pulled up onto in front of Grant Cardone stage. So potentially like thousands of people are going to see it afterwards on the recording. Okay. She has trained 1,000 managers at a massive company, right? She trained 1,000 managers.
When I was working, when they say you cannot live your purpose at a corporate, you can. Sorry, go ahead.
You definitely can live your purpose at a corporation or a career. There's definitely there's nothing wrong with that at all. But Miriam, just so everybody's clear, she's talking to CEOs, presidents of companies, billionaires. She's very qualified in this area. So definitely take lots of notes while Miriam is speaking. I'm great in this area, but Miriam is a master in this area. Just so everybody's clear, she's very humble about it. She's not gonna be like, oh yeah, I've spoken in front of 17,000 people and I'm the best, and she's not like that. So I have to say it for her.
Thank you.
Because I wanna everybody to know that this is the person you're listening to right now.
I appreciate that, Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for that. So with that being said, know your audience. So you know this audience.
Yeah.
So, and again, guys, if you don't know who your audience are, is the communication will not be getting across. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I had to learn this the hard way. Even when you go to even if you go to an interview, you have an audience that you need to speak. Anyone who you speak to is an audience, as we mentioned, right? Did you do your research? Did you do your due diligence before you get to that company, and so on and so forth?
100%. Yeah. If you get to an interview, that's a really good point, Miriam. You get to an interview and you have done no research on what your audience even looks like. You just know the industry, which is what everybody knows.
Yeah.
They want you to know exactly what the core values of the company are, things that are above and beyond, like what kind of person. Maybe you can go look the person you're being interviewed by on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Right? You guys can do a little bit of extra things to get that extra altitude above other people. That's something very simple, but most people don't do it. Right?
I understand.
So should we go to the next piece?
Yeah, for sure. The next piece is actually, so now that we spoke about, for you to be a confident speaker, you have to set your intentions. You have to have a clear understanding and knowingness of who your audience is. And the third thing is actually segmented into 3 different subcategories. So these are what we call the characteristics of confident speakers. The characteristics of confident speakers are 3. And we're going to go through every single one of them. And Alex, you like all of them.
Yes, I do.
Number 1, they listen. Number 2, they acknowledge. Number 3, they're present, right? So they listen. I didn't write this one down. Sorry, the sheet was a little bit funny. They listen, they acknowledge, and also, what did we mention? They actually are present. So I'm going to talk about every single one of them. So they listen. So what does listening mean? Listening literally means giving attention to a sound. When you say I am listening, it means you are giving your attention to a sound. Let's be quiet for a second. And I want you to listen to your environment. What do you listen? What are you listening to? I hear an airplane. You're listening. So you're giving your attention to a sound. So when you are saying to someone, I am listening to you, it means that I am paying attention to you. It looks like an amazing coffee shop. When we come to Orlando, we're gonna come to you.
Yes,
Right.
It's amazing.
We'll go there. Right. So when you say I'm listening, it means you are giving your attention to something. So when you say to someone, I'm listening to you, it means that you are actually giving them your attention. And by the way, great speakers are great listeners. Because before you speak, you listen. But here's the thing. Here's the drama that I was dealing with for a very long time. And many people are, maybe it's you, and I tell you it's okay if it's you. We listen. Many people, they listen to respond. Where in fact, you need to listen to understand. When I'm going to go ahead and listen to Alex, and let's say Alex came in late. And if my intentions are not good, I want to get Alex in trouble. I'm like, where did you go? Let me see what he has to come. What does he have to come up with? You know, when I look for trouble. Let me see what he has to come up with. I want to hear, Let me hear him so I know how to respond. So when I say that, it means that I don't understand. But, you know, I'm giving you a space to communicate, but my intentions are not there. If my intention is like, I need to understand if everything is okay with him, he comes in and I say, is everything okay? And then I listen to him to understand, not to respond. So if you want to be a great speaker, it starts with you listening. Listening. You listen to the person, not to respond again, but to understand. What do you have to say about that?
Well, here's the thing. Like, if I was thinking about what I was going to say that whole time, I wouldn't have been listening to Miriam anymore. Or maybe like when you're in a conversation, you guys all do this, right? Like when you're in a conversation, you're already thinking of the next thing to say. You're not understanding what they're saying. Yeah. At the minute that you're already thinking of the next thing to say, you cut off what they're even saying themselves. So they might have told you a very important piece of information. Like if Miriam comes home and is like looking for trouble, like she said, right? Which she doesn't do, just so everybody knows. But if she were to do that, and she's doing that, and I'm already looking for something to say, or maybe she asked that question and she's already thinking of the next thing to say because she's mad, or maybe she did something, right? Maybe she did something wrong and she's trying to find fault in something else, right? Again, she wouldn't do that, but this happens in human nature a lot, right? Like that we seek to respond to the other person. We just want to get our word in. We want to be heard. Yes, be heard, but the way that you can be heard and truly understand other people and get your way in life is by listening first. If I don't understand what people actually want, I'm going to make huge mistakes. They're going to feel like they weren't listened to. Like, did this guy even just listen to what I was saying? I used to do this all the time. I was terrible at listening. Right? And I would just keep on blabbing my mouth and nothing would happen. And I would get so frustrated because they didn't listen to me. Oh my gosh, right? Were they even listening to me? Was I listening to them? We're so quick to assign responsibility to someone else. They did this. Oh my gosh, can you believe this? I don't know why they're like this. They never listen. Oh my gosh, Miriam always comes in the door and starts accusing me of things. Well, maybe I should have communicated before and understood that maybe she's going to be thinking, well, I'm gone and I didn't tell her where I was going.
Right.
That maybe it'd probably have been a good idea to tell her where I was going.
Right.
So that's actually my fault.
Right.
So listening, like listen to people. And you're going to be able to find problems that you can solve for other people. You're going to be able to have better communication with your spouse, your kids, if you actually listen to what they're saying. Everything you need to know about a person is in their words. If you really actually listen, you can pick up on things like emotions and things that they're not actually even saying just by their body gestures. If you actually sit there and listen, you'll be able to pick up on all of that. Go ahead.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that. So again, listening, guys. Again, next time you are with someone, ask yourself, am I actually listening? Am I actually paying attention to what this person is saying? So that's the first characteristic of a great speaker. The second characteristic of a great speaker is that they acknowledge. Acknowledgement. You know what does acknowledgement mean? It means that I am noticing you. I acknowledge you. Doesn't mean I agree with you. It means I am noticing you.
By definition, right?
By definition, yes.
Yeah.
So for example, I am with Alex, you know, He says something I don't agree with. He says, this pen is orange. And I say to him, nope, it's black. Don't you see? Can't you see? Do you need the glasses? Oh my gosh, Alex, it's black. Why do you say it's orange? Where do you think this communication is gonna go? Nowhere, right? So instead of saying that, instead of saying, he says, oh, it's orange, and I say, I understand. Doesn't say I didn't say I agree. I didn't say you know whatever. I say that I actually in agreement with it. What acknowledgement doesn't mean I agree. Acknowledgement means that I understand your viewpoint, even though I don't share it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a great speakers acknowledge. If you think about every single speaker who maybe you have seen in stage, or like who they're like saying, you're asking a question, you know, every single, like for example, a great mentor of mine, every time I would ask a question, they would acknowledge and say, great question. Maybe they don't agree with the question, maybe they don't agree with the way I said the question, but they will acknowledge the question. I understand, right? Thank you for sharing. It doesn't mean that I agree. It means I'm noticing this person. I'm actually listening to them. I'm paying attention, and I'm actually acknowledging what they are saying there. If I'm not acknowledging the person, it means I am not in communication with them. And if you notice, listening and acknowledgement has everything to do with you. It has nothing to do with the audience. It has everything to do with you, with who you are, right? So if you want to go ahead and think about it from that angle, you'll be like, that's actually a good point. Like, do you actually acknowledge people, or do you always say, oh my gosh, I don't like your dress, Mariam, your dress is green? Thank you for the compliment, right? Doesn't mean that I agree with her. I'm not going to go ahead and try clashing, right? The idea of it is you acknowledge the person because you want them to be in that speaking moment, in that communication moment with you.
Yeah, 100%. So acknowledgement. So noticing, right? Noticing someone else.
Yes.
That's
noticing someone else. Yeah.
It's so important to do this, because if you don't, it's going to create. First of all, the person's going to feel like you weren't listening to them because you didn't even acknowledge them. You just went to your next thing, or be like, that's not true, or that's not right. You know, if you go straight to that, they're going to feel like you weren't even listening in the first place as well. Okay. Right. So I want to take this up a notch. An acknowledgement. Like, if you don't just say like, I understand. Like, if someone's like, you know, I don't know, for an example, like they get really mad at you and they're like steaming hot, and be like, I understand. Oh my gosh. If you're like not like genuine about it as well, they're going to get even more mad. So you have to be like, you kind of have to match them. Like, you know, I totally understand that. Yes. You know, in fact, I've been frustrated about that in the past myself. Or if someone calls me ugly, or I don't know, a loser, or I can't think of anything. Let's just say they call me ugly, for example. People don't, but maybe they do behind my back. If they were to do that, I'd be like, thank you for sharing that with me. You want to know something? I used to think the same thing about myself. Right. I used to think I was the ugliest kid in school, and it drove me in such a deep depression. I almost tried to commit suicide. It was the most insane part of my life. But what I've found is that I actually was able to get out of that. And now I wear my own confidence. I'm able to be confident. I'm able to communicate with other people. I'm able to help people understand that they're not ugly, right? And if it's someone random, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to end the conversation there. I don't need to ask them questions and keep the conversation going if they're that kind of a person, right? But I can respond like that. If it's someone that I'm like really close friends with, they're probably not going to call me ugly. But you can acknowledge them and then share your viewpoint, and then, you know, go to the next stage. But you need to listen, and then acknowledge what they just said. If you don't acknowledge them, they're going to maybe stop listening once again because they were never acknowledged.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for mentioning that, because again, guys, acknowledgement, when you acknowledge the person, it means that you actually appreciate them. What does the word appreciate mean? Appreciate means that you are recognizing the value and significance of someone. When I acknowledge William, it means I appreciate him. It means I recognize him as someone who is valuable and someone of significance as well. You know, so again, when it doesn't cost much, guys, to go ahead and, I love what you mentioned, genuinely, like respecting the person and genuinely acknowledging the person. Because if there is no genuinity involved with this, it means that you're fake. And fake speakers don't go far. You know, fake speakers do not go far. So this is something that, you know, you need to pay attention to when it comes to understanding the idea of acknowledgement.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing that you guys need to know, I was terrible at all these things. Like I just never knew about them. I wasn't aware of them. I didn't understand it. So I never used it in my life. So once you know these things, you have to start practicing it in your life, because it's not, some of these things are not actually natural. Like it's not actually natural for most people to acknowledge, right?
Right.
Because they're already thinking of their viewpoint, and they just want to be right.
Right.
I learned something from Grant Cardone, our mentor. He said, in order for you to actually have control, you have to give up control first. Right? So if you give up control and submit to what someone's saying, right? Like you go into a total acknowledgement, total agreement with them. You surrender so they can be right, because people want to be right. So you make them right. You make someone else right. Like, yes, that pen is green. You're right. You know, or that I understand that pen looks very green, you know, and I understand that pen is green, of course, you know, and then you can start figuring out why they think that, you know, but you can't figure out why they think that if you're just like, it's black.
It's black, can't you see? Oh my gosh, you need to change your glasses.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to communicate with the person. It's going to be impossible. You're just going to get into a argument and nothing's going to end up happening. So I just wanted to.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
100%. I love that. So again, guys, and I love what you mentioned about the graph, because this is what we also do with our trainings and stuff. People love to be right, you know. So again, when you allow someone to be right, you understand their viewpoints as well.
Yeah.
Because if you don't understand this viewpoint of someone else, you're not in communication with them.
Mm-hmm.
This moves me to the next point, which is again the third characteristic of a confident speaker is they're present. And if you notice, listening, acknowledging, and being present, it has everything to do with you before you talk to someone. If you are not listening, if you're not acknowledging, and you're not being present, you're not in communication with someone. So what does being present mean? Present means that something is occurring right now. Like you are occurring right now. Like for example, I cannot say all our phones are occupied. Okay, fine. For example, I'm looking at a phone. Like Alex is talking to me. He's my audience. You know, I called for the meeting. Alex, we need to discuss our business plan. He's there. The guy is there. I'm on my phone. Yeah, keep going. I'm listening to you. Yes, don't worry, Alex. I'm listening. I'm present. I'm not present with him. I'm present with someone else. And I'm going to tell you guys this whole thing about multitasking. I personally don't believe in it. I don't believe in multitasking. I don't think it's a thing. I think it's something that someone came up with and got popularized and needs to go away. You know, because being present means that you are there for that thing, in that very specific moment. Like your attention is on that thing. If I'm sitting with Alex, I'm talking to him, right? If I'm studying, I'm studying. If I'm closing deals, I'm closing deals. If I'm reading a book, I'm reading a book, right? So you're doing one thing at a time. And again, so some of you are like, oh my God, Mariam, that's not possible. I have to do 10 things in one time. How much progress do you actually have when you do 10 things in one time? Actually, I heard this saying a long time ago. It was in Arabic, but I'm trying to translate it into English. It says, if you do multiple things, you produce the least of them. If you do multiple things at the same time, you produce the least of them. It's different than doing one thing at a time. And by the way, guys, sometimes you think, oh my God, it's going to take me a long time. Maybe it's going to take you 5 minutes. An hour instead of the 5 days you thought it's going to take you. So when you are being present with the person, it means that you are there as one action, which is again paying attention to the person. So when you are talking to an audience of people, you are present with them. I'm talking to you guys right now and I'm thinking about why this. I mean, I'm not saying, oh my God, I should have worn a different dress, which is, I thought about another dress this morning, but I'm with you guys here. I'm not going to worry about the dress, my call at 1:30. I'm not going to worry about, oh my gosh, what should be getting for lunch? Oh my God, look at the weather outside. We should be going outside. Oh my God, why did Alex decide to wear a black suit? This is not attention to you guys. I'm not present with you when I'm having 10 ideas occupying my mind. Being present means being there. And by the way, we didn't mention this earlier, but we have a speaking master class.
Just thinking of that.
Oh my gosh, we're very bad. I mean, we take full responsibility of not sharing that with you
Oh
guys.
my gosh, that's
earlier.
our fault.
Yeah, guys. So we actually have a free event this upcoming Saturday on speaking. Go to clearandconquer.com/free. That's clearandconquer.com/free. Clearandconquer.com/free, and join us where we go ahead and help you with these activities, because being present is an activity. I cannot do it here on social media. You need to come to the session for you to be present, and I can help you understand what happens when you are there, finishing one thing at a time. And not thinking multitasking is a thing. And I'm gonna tell you guys, it is not a thing. I personally don't believe in it, because I feel like I'm not present if I am cooking and I'm talking to Alex and I'm replying to my friends on the phone. It's not working that way. It should be one thing at a time. When, for example, today we had a meeting, right? I had to do something. So Alex went ahead and took that meeting at 11 today, right? And I said, I'm going to join you at 11:30. So Alex goes, works on that. Me, I need to work on something. I'm done with that thing, and then I join the call. It's not like I do that thing and I'm on the call at the same time. I'm not present. And when you're not present, you make mistakes. You're not there. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping the people around you, and you are making things bigger than they should.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a huge mistake. Some people just don't know how to be present. Like their mind is so many places, and you guys know what happens when your mind is so many places. A lot of times you end up doing nothing. Yeah. So join us this Saturday. It's clearandconquer.com/free, and it is free. That's why it's /free. Clearandconquer.com/free. That's clearandconquer.com/free. And you get to listen to a live training, mostly by Miriam, where she's going to show you how she has gained the confidence. Because again, like I said earlier, Miriam at one point didn't have that confidence. And same with myself. We didn't have that confidence. We were not born with confidence. I promise. And I have to say that I'm pretty sure all of us in this room here, everybody watching the recording, everybody watching right now, we were all born babies. So I think we were all pretty much born the same. Okay. I got that from someone else. I can't remember who. But here's the thing, you guys. Being present, being 100% present. Are you guys present, or are you guys thinking about a whole bunch of different other things? Right? Is your mind on a massive problem that you've had during this week? Or maybe you lost a massive deal. Maybe you had a really bad fight with your spouse. You need to get present as soon as possible, because you're not going to be getting anywhere really fast if you're still stuck on something. If you're not present with someone, if you're thinking about something that's going to happen in the future that maybe hasn't even happened yet.
Right.
Maybe you have a meeting. That's a big problem if you are not present. And I want to tell you guys something that I learned from Grant Cardone as well. I'm bringing this in here again because this is what I learned from him. I did a private one-on-one with him.
Those guys,
Yeah, I'm one of the only people. I'm proud of that because it took courage to do that. And I was in a room of about 5,000 people. They all had the opportunity. I just said yes the fastest. Okay. But anyways, in that meeting, it was not about the questions I asked. It was not about what he said in the meeting. It was his example. He was working on I think $150 million deal. Okay. A big, massive real estate deal. I seen he had it written on his paper. And he said, just a second, because he was finishing that cycle. He was finishing what he was doing. He'd not just go, oh, hey, Alex, here you are, right? No, he finished what he was doing there. And then he came to me and was 100% present with me to the point I was feeling it the whole time. Like I could feel his presence. Okay?
Wow.
I could feel Grant Cardone's presence in that room. And that moment right there completely changed the rest of my life. It was not about what he said. It's not about the questions I asked. It's not about the situation I was in at the time. It's not about how much money I had. It was about his example and how present he was. He was just working on a $150 million deal or whatever it was. And he was immediately present with me. I could feel it. I could feel that he was present with me. Okay? And on the dot, he started and it ended exactly when he said it was going to end. My mind was blown. He squeezed that time. I got so much out of it. I got more out of that than some other trainings I've been with other people for 2 days. Right? In those just minutes with him.
I love that.
Okay? That's what being present is. And ever since then, I kept on working at being present with other people. If my mind is everywhere else and I'm not listening, like you guys have probably been in a situation where you were not present with the peer person and you didn't even know what they said because your mind went somewhere else. And that's a problem because then you're like, yeah, 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 yeah. And what do you think? Yeah, And you know, you're like, crap, what did they say? I don't remember what they said. Like,
right.
Actually, can you repeat that? I missed part of it. You know, you kind of like, you know, you're not present. How are you supposed to even listen? How are you supposed to acknowledge them if you weren't even present with them in the first place?
100%. I love that. So again, guys, if you notice, these are the 3 characteristics, and I love the examples you shared. You know, these are the 3 characteristics of a great speaker. So again, just to remind you guys, we're coming to you. Clear and Conquer comes to you guys every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. Dubai time, where we bring you a topic that is going to be helping you with your life and business. And today is about being a confident speaker. Mm-hmm. And as we mentioned at the beginning, it starts with your intention about that talk. And then it follows by you knowing who your audience is, who you're talking to, right? And then you understand the 3 characteristics of a great speaker, which is, again, they always listen, they acknowledge, and they are present with you. And if you notice, these are the characteristics that they all start with you. And again, guys, excuse me, we're going to be going more onto that in our speaking masterclass this weekend. All what you have to do is to go to clearandconquer.com/free. It's going to be a live training where we take you through the different mechanics of this, like how to get and keep attention. We go deeper into listen, acknowledge, and be present. We go deeper into your audience. We go deeper into your intention. We all then go deeper to the topics. Many of you guys want to talk, but you don't know what to talk about, right? And one thing we talk about, and this is my favorite, is how to be ready for opportunities. This is my favorite. Like, how many of you guys want to talk to person? You have someone in your mind, you really want to meet them, you really cannot wait to meet them, and you're looking forward to meeting them, and so on and so forth. But then you're like, one day maybe I'll meet them, and one day you do. And then what do you do when you meet them? You're gonna freeze, or you're gonna be ready for the opportunity? Great speakers are always ready for opportunities. When an opportunity, I would love to quote John Maxwell. John Maxwell says, when an opportunity knocks, it's too late to prepare. You should be already ready for that opportunity. If you are not ready for that opportunity, it means that you were just having a conversation. Right? So again, the best speakers are the ones who are always ready, and we help you get ready for that next opportunity. Guys, we are approaching the end of December. Many people now are gonna, release on the, release on the, on the gas, hit the brakes. They're on, oh my gosh, Mariam, it's chilling time. No problem, go chill. We're not saying no. Relax, we're gonna chill as well. We're gonna go, we're gonna see friends, and
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
again,
gonna chill. I don't like the word chill.
Sorry, not the word chill, but you're right. But again, but still we're gonna work, because here we understand who is going to be getting a bigger market share. Many people now will go to sleep. They're gonna go to sleep, right? And many people are actually going to be accelerating. So would you like to start January right? Would you like to start January with a way that is so powerful that you understand that you are already, January is just, a continuation of everything you've done this year? Or you're gonna start January is like, where am I? What did I do yesterday? What's going on? Oh, January 1st, I said I'm going to go to the gym today. Oh, no, I'll do it tomorrow. So when you talk like that, you understand that you're already procrastinating. So join our free event. Do something now. Do not wait. It's a free event, guys. Go to clearandconquer.com/free, and let us help you with that.
Yes, and make sure that you go register, because we do only have a limited amount of bandwidth on this, okay? So go to clearandconquer.com/free. We are going to be there for you. We want to help you become confident. We want you guys to get results. Our intention is not just to motivate you, inspire you, because you can have inspiration for a couple of days and then go straight back down again. We do not want that to happen. We want you to take tools, be able to apply it in your life, and get actual results, okay? Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, and be great.
Go conquer.
Go conquer.